Colt, who has the call.
Ready. And they're off for the Qipco 2000 Guineas. Away well Dubai Mile in the centre. High Royal Nose Bandit. Chaldean on the far side with Flight Plan, and they are chased by Noble Style. Towards this near side, Silver Not very handy in the blue-white cap. On the near side, Little Big Bear, along with Royal Scotsman. Then Indestructible. August Rodin is just towards the rear. It got a bit tight there with Royal Scotsman. Sharon is pulling hard. Sakir is anchored at the back of the field. It's just High Royal that leads the way to Chaldean and Dubai Mile. Far side on the left, Flight Plan, along with Noble Style. Towards the right is Little Big Bear, tracked by stable companion August Rodin. On the extreme right is Charin. Royal Scotsman hasn't really settled, probably hasn't had the best of runs. Then Indestructible held up today, along with Holloway Boy, Galeron, and Sakir is still at the back of the field. Hurtling then down the Rolimar, they're inside the halfway stage, heading for the 3 furlong marker, and it's High Royal from Dubai Mile. Chaldean far side, Silver Knot with every chance. Then Little Big Bear, August Rodin now being asked to improve. One from the right by Ryan Moore in the blue and orange jacket. On the far side, trying to run on his Noble Style. High Royal wandering in front there from Chaldean. Chaldean with every chance. Royal Scotsman now coming through well on the stand side with Sakir. The favourites well beaten. Both the O'Brien horses well beaten. They run into the dip. Chaldean far side. High Royal just can't run straight. Then behind those Royal Scotsman and Noble Style and Dubai Mile. Chaldean on the far side, out in front. The Dewhurst winner in the hands of Frankie Dettori in his final season, and he wins another Guineas. Chaldean wins it from High Royal. Then Royal Scotsman tied for fourth, Galeron, together with Dubai Mile. And one other, also Noble Style on the far side. Chaldean wins the Qipco 2000 Guineas.
What a way to mark the start of your farewell tour. Frankie Dettori has won the Qipco 2000 Guineas on Chaldean for Andrew Balding. It's a fourth success in the race for Dettori. It's a second for trainer Andrew Balding, who won with Qipco in 2020. And Chaldean has won quite comfortably in the end from High Royal, who's got an absolute screamer in second for Sheen Murphy and Kevin Ryan. And in third, it is Royal Scotsman for Paul and Oliver Cole, with Jim Crowley on board. So the Dewhurst form has come to the fore, and Chaldean has won the 2023 2000 Guineas.
And he won it comfortably in the end, hasn't he? Far top side of the track where he made his challenge, was away from some of the other principles. He's loved the trip, he's handled the ground well, and he didn't need to run with a jockey on in the trial. It prepped him up just nicely for it, but he's run out of, yeah, he's a good winner, isn't he, of it, to be fair, and he's a horse with a great attitude, said that beforehand, and he finds an awful lot for pressure. When he's asked to go, he really sticks his head down and wants to gallop. There were some disappointments, plenty of them in the race. August Rodin chief amongst them. He was beaten a long way out without obvious excuses. So we'll see what comes to light there with him. That was a really flat run from him.
There was some roughness in the race early on.
There was. We'll have a look at that again. I think a few of them that we had stamina doubts beforehand. Sakir, I thought he would stay, but maybe not so under these conditions. He didn't in the end. He got tired.
Style,
yeah, but he's run well in the end, hasn't
really
he? Noble Style. I'd like to follow him through again, but you can see High Royal. What a massive run from him at a huge price. And the other one that ran really well at a massive price was Galeron, finishing fourth and exceeding anything that he's done previously. So Little Big Bear.
And he got crowded and bumped at the start, actually, Galeron.
That's right. And the two Aidan O'Brien colts in the field, August Rodin and Little Big Bear, I think they've trailed the field home in the end. Little Big Bear racing enthusiastically at the head of towards the head of affairs, and got very, very tired.
And here are the celebratory shots, people yelling home. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Lovely to see the delight. We take him to the start. There is Galeron, who gets a bump right at the start there from Silver Not going to his left. Up to the 4 straight away, we have High Royal, who stays there.
Oh yeah, he's run a blinder. Look at Royal Scotsman as well in the pink colours, Jim and Fitchery here there. He's over racing really, and he's done very well to finish off in the style that he has, considering how keen he was early. Noble Styles over racing. Sakir was taken right to the back of the field, but Chaldean tracking through High Royal early on, and those two that have filled the first 2 positions, never too far away, but also both of them racing evenly and on an even keel and not overdoing things. Little Big Bear's pulling too hard. Noble Star was a little bit too keen. Royal Scotsman, as I say, keeps on fighting his rider.
He is.
Through the first half of the race, and considering that, he's run very well.
And there's a jink in the early stages as well from Little Big Bear. I don't know whether he causes that himself from his over racing or whether something happens on his inside. I don't know whether we've got a sort of full race head on. It might be able to enlighten us about what's happening in the early stages. But up front, it is the eventual runner-up, and Chaldean is about to make his challenge over there on the left-hand side, the right-hand side of the leader. Yeah,
and he starts to come under a little bit of pressure now, but we did see from this from him last year how he really responds for pressure, and when a jockey asks him to go, he puts his head down, and he's got that real willing attitude to find, and he takes him a little bit of time to master High Royal, who hasn't loved the undulations of the track necessarily, hanging a bit to his left in the dip. And considering that, he's run extremely well, but Chaldean handled it just fine. He was away and gone by the time he got to the half furlong point, and Frankie up in the stirrups crossing the line.
Well, I mean, there was a point where potentially he was hunting for a Kentucky Derby ride today, and had he found something, he said this openly, he would have been in Kentucky today rather than here. Nothing came of that, and so he decided to stick with Chaldean, who he knew, having won a Dewhurst, that he had a high quality potential horse for the 2000 Guineas, and here it is, a winning start in terms of classics to his farewell tour.
Yeah, and quite literally the lows to the highs on the deck at Newbury a few weeks ago, and now he's got another Guineas win in the bag. And you're right, it was the Dewhurst form. I doubted it. I hold my hands up there. Other horses haven't turned up on the day, have they? Plenty of horses underperforming. You can see there August Rodin just kept in all the while by Charian on the far side, just through that middle part of the race. He was always just kept in, but as soon as Ryan got a little bit of a gap and went for him, he never went, did he? He never found, for whatever reason. So we'll find out if something comes to light there, but clearly not his running. And a few of the others, plenty of them, are going to be contesting races, I think, over shorter distances later in the year. Sakir and Little Big Bear chief amongst them.
Yes, and maybe Noble Star.
Maybe.
What if the rain hadn't come for Noble Star? Because he travelled into the race really well, and he's only faded out inside the final half furlong and been caught for 4th and 5th by Galeron and Dubai Mile.
Yeah, and Dubai Mile's one that we've not talked about, because he's run a race that would be typical of what you'd expect from him, really. He ran like a middle distance horse, but a very good trial for the Derby and the top middle distance races to come.
Well, the crowd has absolutely loved that here at Newmarket, been treated to a classic flying dismount from Frankie Dettori after Chaldean's success here in the 2000 Guineas. They are gathered around, packed around the paddock to see this, and these are the kind of scenes that Frankie Dettori hopes he will be generating for the rest of the season. Getting a hug there from Andrew Balding as well. So Chaldean has won the 2000 Guineas for Frankie Dettori and Andrew Balding.
Yeah, very well back just before the off. Chaldean 7-2 in the end he was. High Royal second, 125-1, and Royal Scotsman very keen through the race. He's done well to last out and finish third at 11-1.